I want to present to you the idea that it's worth our while to transcend love, libidinous, sexual, adolescent style pair bonding love, limerence as it's sometimes known. The way I want to do this is I'd like to use the example given in The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. Now, Dostoevsky doesn't actually have any character criticize love or passionate per se. He does have characters criticize certain elements of society explicitly, but on this one he doesn't. He merely shows the actions of one character very up close and in a claustrophobic way. Spoiler alert. So we have one of the three brothers is Dimitri, Karamazov, Mitya, and he is in love, insanely in love, with a girl called Grushenka, who they refer to as Grushenka. That's not her proper name, that's a nickname. And his love is a passionate, burning love. And his father is also interested in her, and because she is not a particularly mature or pleasant individual, she uses that against him, against Mitya, and deliberately flirts with the father, who is a nasty old man, and essentially drives young Mitya into a jealous fury, a jealous rage of delusion and obsession. This is after young Mitya has been caught, and he's been arrested for allegedly potentially murdering his father. And these are the police have gotten a hold of him, and there are lawyers who are questioning him. One of the policemen comes, and Grushenka's in one room, he's in another room, and the policeman comes, his name is Mikhail Makarovich, and says, "Oh, I've seen your beloved Grushenka, she's well, everything is fine." Mitya at this point jumps up. "Forgive me, gentlemen, oh, allow me, he cried. "You've the heart of an angel, Mikhail Makarovich. I thank you for her. I will be calm, cheerful in fact. Tell her, in the kindness of your heart, that I am cheerful, quite cheerful, that I should be laughing in a minute, knowing that she has a guardian angel like you. I shall have done with all this directly, and as soon as I'm free, I'll be with her. She'll see, let her wait. Gentlemen," he said, turning to the two lawyers, "now I'll open my whole soul to you. I'll pour out everything. We'll finish this off directly. We'll finish it off gaily. We shall laugh at it in the end, shan't we? But, gentlemen, that woman is the queen of my heart. Oh, let me tell you that. That one thing I'll tell you now. I see I'm with honorable men. She is my light. She is my holy one. And if only you knew. Did you hear her cry? I'll go to death with you. And what have I, a penniless beggar, ever done for her? Why such love for me? How can a clumsy, ugly brute like me with my ugly face deserve such love, and that she is ready to go to exile with me? And how she fell down at your feet for my sake just now, and yet she's proud and has done nothing. How can I help adoring her? How can I help crying out and rushing to her as I did just now? Gentlemen, forgive me. But now I am comforted." And he sank back in his chair, and covering his face with his hands, he burst into tears. But they were happy tears. He recovered himself instantly. Dostoevsky is very clever. He makes no explicit criticism, but he holds you at close range to observe as a voyeur to the actions of these people. And they're quite mad. There's nothing you can do about it. It's like the experience of watching the Adam Sandler film Uncut Gems. You know the character isn't a great guy, but he's not awful. And you just sit and you're forced to enjoy. It's almost torturous watching Uncut Gems, to see somebody who you grow to care about make mistake after mistake after mistake, and knowing that it's going to end badly for him because he's so obsessed. He's so driven with a certain kind of greed and lust that we're going to talk about in a moment. In Uncut Gems, the greed and the lust is for gems, is for jewelry, and is for money. In The Brothers Karamazov, it is for sensual pleasure, love, the things of this world, the fake transcendence that is offered by romantic love in this world. And I think Dostoevsky, without actually criticizing, he shows you how insane it is, how completely insane we can behave when we're driven by the fuel and the fire of love. And what I'd like to suggest in this video is that there is a way to move beyond that, and that we should. And that as a culture, generally speaking, we've not really grown out of that adolescent phase of being obsessed with pair bonding sexual love. And I would suggest the reason why, as Dostoevsky has pointed out, and it was later pointed out in Aldous Huxley's book, Brave New World, the central reason why that's happening is because we've become so focused on pleasure of the self, and it's destroying us. And one way of pleasuring the self is to fall in love, and to fall into this kind of sexual, obsessive, jealous love. Now to Buddhism. I would love to take credit for this and be like, I always knew this, but I actually found this out today when I was reviewing for the video. I knew half of this, but it was actually more interesting than I realized. So most of you know a little bit about Buddhism. You'll know the Four Noble Truths. You'll know all life is suffering, and suffering is brought about by attachment. Number 3, there is a route to the end of that suffering. And number 4, the route to the end of that suffering is following the Noble Eightfold Path. So we have this word, attachment. So we say attachment in English, but it isn't attachment. That's a poor translation. We need to understand two concepts to understand how attachment causes suffering, not attachment. The word is upadana in Sanskrit, and it is fuel. It literally means fuel for a fire, hold that in mind, and it means material cause. It's the fuel that causes an engine to move, or there were no engines back then, a wheel to start moving, or life to start moving, the wheel of samsara to start moving. And it results from another concept called tanha, which is craving. So it's not that the cause of all suffering is attachment, no. The cause of all suffering is craving that leads to the creation of, is tanha, which is craving, that leads to the creation of upadana, which is fuel for a fire, and material causation. It's cause. It's like you're pushing a wheelbarrow down a hill. You cause the movement of the wheelbarrow in this world. And of course, it creates suffering, which is dukkha, which most of you, if you're interested in Buddhism, you would have already known that. The cessation of dukkha through detaching from tanha, craving, and upadana is called nirvana. I think people who are interested in a philosophy channel would know the ultimate goal of Buddhism is to attain nirvana, which is a kind of detached state from the things in this world. Now, a couple more concepts I want to share with you, and then we'll get back to the fire of passionate love and how it damages us. There is something called sense pleasure, kamupadana, and opinionated, being attached to our world views, being heavily opinionated and stuck in our ideological world views. That's ditthuppadana, the attachment, the clinging to world views, and the clinging to sensual pleasure, the pleasures of the flesh, kamupadana. Why did I say it's interesting that it refers to burning? There was a Buddha version of the Sermon on the Mount, just as important as the Sermon on the Mount, but in Buddhism, Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, just as important as Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, is Buddha's sermon called the Sermon of Fire. And in the Sermon of Fire, he describes to his disciples that the world is aflame. The world is on fire. Our senses are aflame. Apparently, this is the thing I learned today, nirvana, this is older Buddhism. This is not Mahayana Buddhism. This is older Buddhism. Nirvana, in its root, in its etymological root in Sanskrit, I always thought meant to get out, just to leave, like get out as in you're on the cycle of the wheel of samsara and you get off. That's nirvana. It actually originally meant to blow out, like blowing out a candle, like blowing out a flame. So we must, well, not we must, I would claim it is a worthy endeavor for a human being to get beyond love, to get beyond the desire to transcend the things of this world through love, by extinguishing that flame of burning desire. Mitya is in the grip of that flame. He is burning. He's burning up with jealousy, with craving, with greed, all of the things that are identified in the very early days of Buddhism of being of this world. What is the fuel doing? What is Mitya's fire doing? His greed for his worldview, his greed and his lust to cling to his worldview and to cling to sensual pleasure is creating more dukkha, is creating more suffering. It is fuel and material cause that keeps the wheel of cause and effect turning, which is what the Dostoevsky book, The Brothers Karamazov, is all about. It's a book about suffering and karma, from the father to the son, the sins of the father manifesting in the son, intergenerational trauma handed down, guilt being handed down, debts being handed down, resentments being handed down, murder being handed down, all kinds of other crimes and sins and viciousness and creepiness and moral degeneracy being handed down. And how do we escape it when we're in this world? It's actually a very Buddhist book. So I wanted to know, would Dostoevsky, with the Eastern Orthodox Christian tradition, have any resonance with the Buddhist idea of detaching from the things of this world in order to achieve nirvana? And they do. In the Eastern Orthodox tradition, they have something called apatheia. Apatheia, I'm not in the Eastern Orthodox tradition, where they seek to become disillusioned. And through that disillusionment, it's exactly the same with Buddhism. It's the same process as with Buddhism. Through the disillusionment with the material world, they become dispassionate about the material world. It's almost like deliberately seeking a wounding. It's like deliberately seeking a sort of a trauma, a post-traumatic stress response to the material world, so that the craving for more of the material world is burnt out, is destroyed. You're no longer distracted by it because you've attained apatheia, which is not totally distinct from the Buddhist notion of nirvana. And the Sanskrit word for detachment is nekkhamma. What I would claim is that for us, if we individuals living in this culture at this moment, at this particular point in history, could overcome this passionate, fiery, greedy, lustful obsession with being in love, with being pair bonded, with finding mummy's titty again. It's the same for boys and for girls. It's an attachment disorder. What are you trying to attach to? The mother's breast. I wasn't joking about if you can't be bothered reading Melanie Klein, at least take a scan of her Wikipedia page and find out who she was and what her theory was. It's interesting. We are seeking to detach, you and I are seeking to detach, but general humanity is seeking to attach. What is mother's milk? What is mother's milk associated with? Love, kindness, nourishment, safety, security. Okay, great, nothing wrong with that. Except we're adults. That's creepy as no swearing on this channel. It's creepy as F. It's really creepy, really, really creepy. And we should seek to let go of it. Remember, the characters in the Brothers Karamazov that we're talking about, Mitya and Grushenka, are 23 and 20 years old respectively. They act like completely crazy individuals, completely insane, with lust, with love, and with jealousy. This is no way for a human being to live their whole lives. If we can't jump off the wheel of samsara as it relates to all material pleasure and everything in the material world, okay, maybe next lifetime around. But at least for this one, I believe it behooves us all to try and jump off or blow out the wheel of samsara as it relates to sexual libidinous love. And I'm not saying don't love, and I'm not saying don't have sex, but I'm saying if you are going to have sex with somebody, if you're going to be involved in a sexual relationship where there is pair bonding, where there is personal love, try to stay grounded, try to stay sane, try to stay calm, and don't listen to the biochemical cocktail bomb that's going to go off in your brain and your heart and your central nervous system. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time and for your attention, and I look forward to speaking to you again very soon. Cheers.